Hello again everybody, Freedom Fighter checking in again. I ended my last video with a suggestion I might come back and do a follow-up on the subject of Alpha and Omega. I lost my chain of thought. I basically wanted to talk a little bit about why I believe that the Father is rightly calling himself the Alpha and Omega, and the Son also calls himself the Alpha and Omega. It's not complicated. We saw in John chapter 1 and 18, scripture clearly states that the Christ, Yeshua, is called the only begotten God. He's begotten by the Father. He came out of the Father, was made by him, is of the same substance of the Father. But the point is, if it wasn't for the Father, he would not have existed. Yeshua would not have existed. And, you know, this is clear from Scripture. John chapter 1 and verse 18 isn't the only Scripture that describes Yeshua as having a beginning. It's the beginning of God's creative works. But we know that after that, the Father empowered Yeshua to make all other things, whether in the heavenly realm or of the physical realm, the universe and the planet and mankind and everything on it. Yeah. All these were made through the hand of Christ Yeshua. But the original idea and purpose originated with the Father. The Father is the be-all and end-all of everything that is and exists. And so, of course, he can call himself the Alpha and Omega because of that. But he's granted authority and given the ability to his Son to see all of these things come to fruition, to come into being. So the Son can rightly be called the Alpha and Omega as well. It's not difficult, it's not a contradiction. And I just wanted to highlight also the example, say, of a mayor in a town who the idea originates in his head. Yes, I'm going to build a road, or I'm going to build a new town hall. But the mayor's not going to get his hands dirty, is he? And mix the mortar and lay the bricks. That's apportioned out to other people. And it's a similar thing with God. Yeah, the idea, the concept of creating other beings and a universe with physical beings, of physical substance, it all originates with the Father. Yeah? The idea began in his head and it ended in his head. But for that idea to come into realization, he granted the Son. He made the Son and he granted the Son. So for different reasons, they can both be called the Alpha and Omega. I like the example also of many artists and sculptors. You know, they come up with a concept of a piece of work and they apportion out the hard graft very often to people that they have hired in their studio. When you reach a certain level of I don't know, fame, celebrity as an artist, and you have your own studio, you can bring other people in to do your work, like Damien Hirst. You know, there's many artworks in galleries and personal private collections around the world. Yeah? And he's not painting one of those polka dots on the canvas. He's got a studio of other artists that do that for him. But that painting's called a Damien Hirst. You know. So although Christ Yeshua brought all the physical and the heavenly realm into existence, it was only by the word, yeah, through the idea, through the purpose of the Father. Yeah. So they, for different reasons, can both be called the Alpha and the Omega. And going back to these Jehovah's Witnesses, time and time again, I've seen ex-Jehovah's Witnesses who have come to believe this Trinity belief. Or, I don't know, one or two even said, well, I believe they're all separate beings, and they're part of the same God, but they don't want to own up and say, yeah, I actually do believe in the Trinity. Well, you know, if that's not a Trinity, well, what is? And all of these ex-Jehovah's Witnesses have one thing in common. They've left the organisation of Watchtower and somehow felt it's okay to walk through the doors of Babylon's churches again. Now, I really, really want to make this video to be a warning to anyone who's thinking of leaving Watchtower. Please, please, don't go into Babylon's churches. We know that the world empire of religion is false. All of it, including Watchtower. So, study at home. Meet up with other ex-Jehovah's Witnesses. Discuss the Bible. Debate the Bible. There's plenty of opportunity online, but whatever you do, don't go into Babylon's churches, because you will become a Trinitarian. I love what Son of Thunder said on one of his videos. You are what you eat. And if you're going into church and you're listening to this Trinity doctrine, it will get you. It will get you. So, you know, please, please, please avoid this pitfall that many are falling into. Thank you for your time. Bye-bye.